comics I have. Universe X. I don't know which one it is, but this is a really good one. This is the one that shows you more about Wakanda in this Earth X universe. And so it brings back a lot of characters where they evolved. And Alex Ross had, this guy had Aurora marrying Black Panther a lot earlier than the comics in 616. Now, I have this great issue. Oh, it's Conan, the Barbarian. But he's got a guest star. Who's his guest star? It's Elric. What's he doing here? They fight. They actually do fight. And it's got some nice art. I think it's by Barry Windsor Smith. And so they do fight. And at this time, Elric was very popular because the novels were out. The new ones coming up from Michael Moorcock. And I think he gave him permission to use the character. There would be Elric comics later in the 80s that were really nice. And then here is Avengers Marvel Super Action. This was out when I first started in comics. This is a reprint series. So, if you got these, you get a reprint of the Avengers comics. And this one is a reprint of an Avengers one plus a Hulk one. We're going to look at one of these really soon. There's also Jennifer Mann's pal Jimmy Olsen. An older comic. Not great condition, but it's one of these weird stories with, he's my son. Jimmy's going to live in a cage. But he's vowed to take her punishment. It's kind of an imaginary story. He's fun to draw, but they made him a little better in the 80s. Here's one that's coverless, but it's good. It's a really good one about Thor. It's Thor. By Roy Thomas. It's issue. It's from 1975. Number 248. This issue is about Thor. And it shows you a lot of Asgard. And I think it's Marv Wolfman, which is interesting. Oh, because they're writers. Who's the author? Looks kind of like a Busey. Yeah. And so, he's talking to Heimdall. Hi, everybody. We're looking through an old 70s something. Jim Duras. Here's this ad, too. Look at these old ads. You can get cash. You can get comics. This was how you got comics back in the old days. You wrote away to the issue, and so you could write and you get a list, and then you could send away for your comics. And so there's more. Okay, I'm just gonna show you guys stuff, so I'll try to talk a little louder. This is Thor. This is a good one because Thor fights his dad. And this issue written by Roy Thomas from the 70s. And Odin's kind of wacky. Here's Fandral. And they're fighting Thor, and he's kind of disagreeing, but they're pals. Some hats. And they're talking about enemies that they fought in the past. They're all getting ready to fight. See, there's lots of action. And there's a pyramid. And in the pyramid is this mysterious creature. And it's got Odin captured. Okay, there's some more. Let's look at this thing, which is the Marvel Treasury Editions. These are great. If you haven't ever seen them real, they're really nice because they're big size. And they had these ones like Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and Hulk and the holiday special. These did really good. So they were a good way to adapt the movies like Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Battlestar Galactica. you could subscribe to any of these titles, which includes the X-Men. I think it includes the X-Men. Yeah, right there's the X-Men. You could subscribe to them for $3.50 for a year. It's a pretty good deal. I'm sure plenty of people got up and up to think, send it in. And in the Thor comic, they're talking about big battles in the past. And they look at the immortal flame. And they have to figure out what to do next. And this is cool because this was when t-shirts had really just started. You had to get a blank t-shirt and then get the transfers to put them on there. This one was really popular because it was Rolling Stones. And so was Felix the Cat. And then Keep On Trucking. And you would iron on the transfer to the t-shirt, and eventually it would kind of wear off in the wash. That was the old days. And so they're writing this story about Thor. Thor versus Set. Or horse. There's the bullpen Boltons describing how happy they are that Jack Kirby came back. And some stuff. Some things about baseball cards back in the old days when they're 25 cents a pack. And Odin, what's he doing with the Egyptian gods? What's going on here? You get to find out a lot more. So that is Thor. Don't remember to join Foom. Foom is really good. There's some issues that are great. The Foom issue about the Defenders is worth buying because it's got a lot of background on the whole team, all the members, and what was going on around the time Moon Knight premiered on the Defenders. This one, I'm not going to open up because it's kind of beat up, but it's a Conan about the web of the spider rod. Conan the Barbarian with nice Barry Windsor Smith art. I got it coverless. And he's got to fight the spider god. It's very nice Barry Windsor Smith art. We're just swapping these. This one I can show you more of because it's already much more recent comic. Pretty good still. This is Avengers from number 25 from when they relaunched the series. Normal Avengers. And this one is about they visit another world where the Avengers are bad. And there's all kinds of stuff going on. They found bad, dead Hank Pym from an alternate Earth. This is an Hickman run. It's really good. I highly recommend it. There's some stuff with the maid agents. And they make a portal. And they go through. I think they pulled the bad Avengers out. These guys are bad. Bad Avengers. From the other world. On their world, they're bad guys. Even though the good guys called them there. And you can tell they're bad from the dialogue. Well, they're bad. And they beat up the AIM agents. So most of the issues about how bad they are. And how they brought them through the portal. And the bad stuff they're going to do now that they've invaded Earth 3616. And the portals. A lot more of these portal stuff is Hickman's thing. It was really big in 2013. The alternate universes stuff. Leading up to Secret Wars. There's Thor. And there's where they're talking about dead Hank Pym from an alternate Earth. And these are the Avengers. What's going on? These are the real Avengers from the current time. And the Avengers World Team. It had expanded to have all kinds of heroes on it. So they had the full movie Avengers, plus Captain Marvel, plus Smasher, and Black Widow, and Thor. And they could call other people in based on the mission. And so, for a while it was pretty good. But then they had to come back. And guess what came back? Right then, Fantastic Four came back. It was pretty good. And they finally were able to bring him back. And they brought him back for real. A little bit in Secret Wars. And then they went away for a while. And they came back. This is Avengers 152. which is great because it's the one where Wonder Man comes back to life. He gets revived by the Black Talon in his first appearance, I think. And Black Talon brings Wonder Man back to life as a zombie, not a zombie. And they get him and he becomes a member of the team. And he has a lot of troubles, but eventually becomes a good member of the Avengers. Now, it's a much older comic. This one is No, it's not. It's not Brandak. This is an old, funny comic from Marvel, which was a parody of their stuff and DC. So this is the one where they parodied the marriage of Crystal and Human Torch. This one was coverless, is the way it came. And there's all kinds of goofy stuff. This is drawn by the normal bullpen. And there's fighting and silly Lockjaw. It's just silly. And drawing Lockjaw is really silly. It's blubbering. And there's it. And then here's them parodying the Justice League. This Green Lantern. Here's some old stuff from Corgi. These were really cool cars from the 60s and the 70s, where they were sold in the United States, but they're from Britain, I think. So you could get these in the store. They had some really nice sets. They were good until at least the 70s, because I remember having a few. And here's so you're supposed to sing that. There's a parody of Wonder Woman. And some more parodies of the Flash. And they're all fighting. Stuff is crashing. And they're all singing. And some more weird stuff. And the end. These ads are pretty fun too. And there's the one about Spider-Man who loves Mary Jane. It's a long time ago. And I think it's about Spider-Man when he gets older. He's still living with Aunt May. And he's still making formulas. And he makes love letters. And then he still has... Let's go here, because I'll show you all the fun supervillains drawn in this issue of Not Brandak. And it's all done. That's not Brandak. That's a coverless one. This one's also coverless, but I don't want to wreck it because it's kind of old. This one is Amazing Spider-Man it's in the hundreds. And this one is the first appearance of the arms. He's got the extra spider arms. This one is really good because it has both Morbius in it and Dr. Kirk Connors, the lizard, who gives Spider-Man a serum that gives him extra arms by accident. But he gets better. I don't think they've done Extra Arms Spider-Man yet again. This is an annual, also coverless, from Fantastic Four. And it has an issue about Quasimodo. Oh, yeah, it's falling apart. I'm going to not show you. It's good. It's just fragile. Here's much later. This is Conan the King, when he's still around in Marvel. It's from the 80s. This is issue... Yeah, you can tell it's the 80s because it's got some cool video game stuff. And it's Conan from June 1989. That's close to the end. And it's just a Conan issue. And it's got the new Player's Grand Rook for the new version of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And with the new monstrous compendium, which was in a larger size. It was pretty cool. This is just Conan. He's got a nice story here. It's very nice art. And there's a nice one from I think it's a Nintendo game from Operation Wolf. And some more Conan stuff. Really nice art here. And there's some fighting. And Conan's a little older. And there's... Oh, it's the Spin Masters. These are cool. They really work really good. And more of Conan. And here's a subscription ad. See what Conan Hulk is. It's Grey Hulk time. You could get subscriptions to these issues. See, you had 3 tiers. So Iron Man you get for pretty cheap. And these ones you get for 80 cents a copy. And these ones you had to pay a little more. You could still get X-Men. You could get X-Men Classics. And Avengers and pretty much all the normal titles. But you could see from the time, some of them had not premiered yet. You still get Moon Knight. Okay, a little more of the Conan issue. And nice one about the fist. Oh, a 900 number that doesn't work anymore about a role-playing game. This is when I think they're first coming out. More Conan. End of the story, and it's done. Pretty good Conan issue with the Schwinn hat on it. So that was Conan the King, number 53. Conan the King is a good series. Now, let's look at this one. This is much older, but very good. It's Warlock. Before he got really angsty, he was on another Earth. See this nice cover. This one is drawn. I think it's Gil Kane. It's Gil Kane. It's written by Mike Friedrich. Art by Gil Kane. It's from Warlock from 1972. Okay. This is really good stuff. Gil Kane's really good artist. So it's Warlock. He's on this other Earth. He's got a bunch of friends, which is different for Warlock. He really doesn't have a lot of friends, but these guys help him. And he's on the other Earth, and they're trying to help him out in a boat. It's hard to be on another Earth than a boat. And there's a bad guy that's talking to him on the other Earth, and he's being all angsty. I'm just going to skip through this. And you could get some records. These were one of these clubs for $2.86 on record. That's all of this is. And he has some more stuff with his power. And he's going to do stuff in the storm and swim in the ocean. And there's another thing to get some free prizes. And you see, and Warlock's almost never happy. And I think they're trying to prevent a war on this other Earth. And so Warlock does his things with his power. And that's the enemy guy that's fighting him. And they fight. And Warlock hits him. They go BAM! Look at that action. That's some great Gil Kane art there. Kapow! There's some nice ads. And there's some more bad guys. There's a giant bad guy. I think because he's on the counter Earth, there's Beastmen. That's one of the cool things about the old Warlock ones. And there's some letters, and the Stan soapbox, and some tips of his life. So that was from the old Warlock. Okay. Now, I'm just going to show you covers of these ones, and we're going next one in depth. So we got this one, which is Man-Thing, which is a really sad issue of Man-Thing. It's a good one. It's the May 1975 issue. Giant-sized Man-Thing. That's a good one. We'll look at it another time. But let's go over here and let's look at this one because it's super good. Let's look at one of the best comics ever. It's Crisis number 9. Whoa! Almost never, buddy. ever looks at this one in detail, it's one of the best issues of comics ever. Look at all these supervillains. George Paris drew everybody. Look at everybody. They are from Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth X, Earth S, and then all the way in the future and the past. So, then also, this is the first one where you see Guy Gardner become a hero. This gets really important because Green Lantern, Hal Jordan's not around. Some of the Guardians decide to give Guy Gardner a ring. And so he says, yeah, I always wanted it, so I'm going to be Green Lantern. He doesn't come back and do much in the rest of the thing, but boy does he come back. And there's an explosion, and all the Guardians get hurt, and they need him to be the more aggressive Green Lantern. So he's told to be aggressive and to fight right from the beginning. That's a really important part of comics. Now, for more fun, look at all these supervillains. They all went to the skull ship of Brainiac. And you see here, there's Chemo and some recent villains, like Overmaster was only just in Justice League, Tio Moro, Killer Frost, and many others. And Simon tries to boss everybody around, even though he really shouldn't, because there's a lot of better villains there than him. But he does. And so, Brainiac and Luthor reveal their plan. They're going to take over all the Earths when they're nice and close to each other and everybody's distracted. So you look at all the villains, there's the Joker, lots of other guys. There's Deathstroke, because he was a villain. And what happens is the old Luthor from Earth 2 says, there can't be two Luthors, I'm the best one. He was an important character, because he was from the Golden Age. But, spoilers, Brainiac kills him. And I don't think he's come back since. And so, there's a little bit of an interlude with Starfire and Nightwing, and they're kind of having to go away. Nightwing's having been on Tamaran while the crisis is going. And so, all the Earthers merged together. People are kind of getting used to it, but it's weird. They can see all the Earths together, but they can try to keep the people calm. And so the Teen Titans are hanging out. Cole is in here. It's one of her last issues with the Teen Titans. She has nice powers. And so they're looking at all these Earths have merged together and all the time periods too. And there's Firehawk, who had just come back with a new costume. And they were trying to use her more. And she was used more after Crisis, especially in Firestorm. And so they fly, and time's still on. But all of a sudden, there's some bad guys are coming. Look, they're coming. They took over Earth 4, and they took over Earth, especially got Captain Atom. He's going to come back. He'll be back in a few issues. And they blew up the bug. And look, there's Chemo. Oh, no. And so, Alex Luthor and Lila and Mariah are talking to the UN. And Lady Quark is there. And all of a sudden, he says, oh no, I gotta disappear. So he disappears. And then it's Brainiac. And he appears. He says, okay, you surrender all the villains, or we're going to be taking them over. And so, you're completely under control. And so you've got to surrender. And there's Luthor who comes to say. And all the Earths are under control. And they've got all the villains. See all the villains. So they've got Chemo and Dr. Spectro and Savannah and these guys too. But job for Superman. So lots of the heroes are coming back. So the Creeper comes back. He does come back. And those guys don't really have much to do with the villain. There's one of the best cartoons around, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Firestar and Iceman were in it too. And also, they can't get through the barrier that Luthor has put around the Earth. So they can't get between them, so they got to figure out another way there. And so, Speedy comes out of retirement, and Flash, Wally comes out of retirement too. Because he's going to help Jay Garrick get to the other land, the other planets. They put everybody on these portals. So they put Infinity Inc. and the Justice Society, Doom Patrol, the Outsiders who were with Batman, and Jason Todd. The Metal Men, the Justice League, and Creeper, and Red Star, and Speedy, and Hawk and Dove. And they go on the cosmic treadmill. And they end up on the planets. Zoop. And they break through. And so they know they're coming. And so they've got to, the plan is they're going to have the heroes fight the villains, and whoever's left is going to get defeated by Luthor and Joker. Because they know that the villain team, even though there's more of them, can't beat the heroes. But they're going to win anyway. And so they fight. Changeling beats on Riddler. The Doom Patrol gets real mad. And Tempest comes through. And he blasts everybody. He blasts the Master's Disaster. Boom. And somebody hits Gorilla Grodd. And Green Arrow shoots the Shaggy Man. And he actually kills him. Shaggy Man's not alive. And so Red Star has a moment with Negative Woman. Hey, it's you. Because they know each other. And says, don't try to kick me back. I'm going to get you. They're fighting. And then Chemos does something really bad. He takes his stuff and puts his chemicals in the ocean. And he gets high. Aqualad's fighting. And Shark is fighting Tula. And unfortunately, the chemicals get poor Tula. And she gets too sick. The Justice League is fighting heroes on Earth S. And so are the Metal Men. And so is Superman's fighting Starro on his own. And yeah, it's Sinestro versus Elongated Man. And Plasmus fights. Oh yeah, he's getting Steel. He doesn't kill Steel. But Steel's fighting him. And then Vibe has a moment. He gets Plasmus. And so Steel is fighting Warp. And so he fights him. And there's actually a crossover here. I think there's a whole issue crossed over with number 9, where Steel goes off to another dimension because Warp sent him there. They don't tell you. You just gotta remember to read it. And they're all fighting. There's Lady Quark versus Validus. And Zatanna and Mono blew up one of the Metal Men, which they'll put back together. And Wonder Woman versus Eclipso. He wasn't so powerful in this one. And then they've got Frozen and all the Freezy guys, which are Golden Glider and Captain Cold and Weather Wizard and Killer Frost. And on the Earth's X, the plant people took over. So Jason Woodrue and Poison Ivy made plants all over everything. And they captured the Freedom Fighters. So the Joker is talking to Phantom Lady and Human Bomb. First time they've been comics for a while. Not since DC Comics Presents. And so they're talking to her. But then Silver Ghost, who is the primary villain of the Freedom Fighters, says, the JSA's coming. They're coming. And so they fight. Superman hits this guy. And Katana fights Kung. And Scarecrow. And Wildcat hits Cheshire along with this guy. And poor Hawkman gets burnt by Dr. Phosphorus. And so Dr. Phosphorus is killing Hawkman. He doesn't. But they have to take him away. And in an issue of Infinity Inc., they heal him up. And so you get Mento versus Solomon Grundy, Hawk versus Black Spider, Gypsy versus Kanjuro, and Hyena versus one of the Metalmen. It's the Thunderbolt, Obsidian versus Shade. And then they're kind of figuring out. And so they're talking, but Brainiac's not listening. Why is Brainiac not listening? He blows up. Simon blew him up. What's going on? And he's gonna blow up him too. Does Simon stop him? Oh no, the final fight. So that's the end of this one. It's really good. This issue ends in number 10, so I don't have here. But it's not all just villains fighting. They eventually have to get along. That's Mask. Okay, I'm gonna show one more. Last one, which is All-Star Squadron. It's kind of related. Uncle Sam wants you to save the world. There's a lot of heroes in this one. First, there's really the first appearance of Midnight, who is the Quality Comics version of Spirit. Midnight sneaking in, he has a package. He's trying to take the package to the All-Star Squadron. And there's Hawkwoman and Hawkgirl and Hawkman. They're both really important to the All-Star Squadron. They're coming to the meeting. And meanwhile, these new heroes, Ray and Black Condor, are showing up too. It's the first time they were using All-Star Squadron. They come along to the big meeting. They have a big meeting in the Parasphere. The Parasphere was the headquarters of the All-Star Squadron for a while. They have a robot who becomes important later. And look, here's everybody. All of the Ranger Mart All-Star Squadron. There's Batman, you don't see too often. And Tarantula, and Johnny Quick, and Guardian, and Firebrand, who's one of the main characters. And then they do a little bit more. They talk. There's a lot of characters in this. All the sidekicks talking. Dan the Dynamite, Speedy, Golden Age, and Robin are arguing. There's some of the 7 Soldiers of Victory, and Manhunter, and lots of talking. And the Manhunters are arguing. I'm Manhunter. He's Manhunter. That guy's Manhunter too. What's going on? They get into it more in Millennium. There's Ted Knight, who's related to Sandra Knight, who's Phantom Lady. And then Liberty Bell's there. She's really in charge of this All-Star Squad most of the time. She's got a new costume, and she's got new powers. She got some sonic powers, which she didn't have in the old comics. There's some magicians, there's a Rave, Whip, and they have a meeting, the meeting. And they show you who everybody is with these nice captions. There's Sandman and Sandy, and Spectre and Starman, Wonder Woman and Dr. Midnight, and Tarantula in his new costume, Wildcat, Plastic Man, Guardian, Johnny Quick, Airwave, Batman, Green Lantern, Robin, Jester, Atom, Hawkgirl, Superman, Hawkman, Dr. Fate with half his helmet, and Phantom Lady and Johnny Thunder. I think that might be all. No, it's not all. There's still another page. Human Bomb, Poor Red Bee, our guy, Black Condor, the other Manhunter, Dan the Dynamite and TNT, the Vigilante, Firebrand, Ray, Flash, the Whip, Green Arrow, Speedy, Mr. America. I think that's that's Zatara. You don't see him much in All-Star Squadron. Wing, Crimson Adventure, Sargon, Mr. Terrific, Star Spangled Kid, Stripesy, another Manhunter, and Commander Steel, who came over from Earth 1. Thankfully, they brought him over. And so Libby Lawrence is talking about, these guys couldn't come. Aquaman, you don't see much. I think he only appears in a couple issues of All-Star Squadron. very few Earth 2 Aquaman appearances. Amazing Man and Shining Knight. And they talk about Black Hawk couldn't be there. And some more talking. And there's Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And Uncle Sam shows up. He says, "Hey, I'm Uncle Sam. I got something for you. You gotta come with me. I need some heroes to come. Because on the other Earth, Uncle Sam has got to take the people to the other Earth, including Midnight, so that they can become the freedom fighters." Uncle Sam explains that he brought a bunch of heroes to Earth X to fight, where there aren't so many heroes. He brought these guys there, including some other ones that you didn't really see much in comics in the Golden Age, including Neon and Miss America, who they use later. Another one, Magno, and the Red Torpedo. They brought him over there. They also brought Iron Man, and they explained that when they were fighting, they got captured, and he needs more to come back. So who's gonna come with Uncle Sam? Could it be these guys? Yes. So these guys, the Red Bee, and Human Bomb, and Black Condor, and Ray are gonna come over, and Phantom Lady too, gonna come over to Earth X and help out. So that gets them out of it for a while. And so they decide they're gonna do it the president's way. So these guys are gonna go and help. So they're breaking off, and they're gonna follow, what's his name? And they find Doll Man knocked out, and that takes them over to Earth X. And so that leads to another great story. Okay, that's all for now. Guys, have a good day. Have a good day. Bye-bye.